Hello, I'm Steve Monkey Mason, and welcome back to It's Just a Podcast with Paul Ray
Alright.
and Lubo Carl.
Alright.
We're meant to have a Matt Davies. It was Matt Davies' idea, and Matt Davies has gone to the shop. So yeah, we might have a Matt Davies if we're lucky. I had to fucking go out and buy this film on Blu-ray because I own it on VHS and on DVD. And can I find the DVD? This is the audio podcast for Mortal Kombat, and I'm pressing play. 3, 2, 1, play. Right, before this starts, I'm going to dedicate this to my late auntie, my nana, Joyce Kyle. She took me to see this in the pictures the year before she passed away. Fuck me, Paul. How low you got that? Someone's having a call.
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah. New Line Cinema, man.
Listen, I'm deaf, you know what I mean? I've got to have things up to like at least a 70 before I can hear stuff.
So it's obviously this is directed by, at this point, Paul Anderson, who is from Newcastle. Had made a film called Shopping, and became a bit of a got his foot in the door in Hollywood, and I think he did a fucking cracking job of this.
Oh, I mean, this opening screen is bloody beautiful on Blu-ray. I'm loving the sharpness on it.
The song as well, 90s rave, just totally like, oop.
I love it.
Really early Day for Night as well.
Yeah. But you said about the song, but didn't the album go like platinum or something? Didn't the album do really, really well?
Oh, the album did really, really well. I'm sure some of the stunt double here is Tony Jaa in a very early role. I just always remember this guy off Rising Sun. He'd been a bad boy, Eddie. But he was great casting for this.
So what, I mean, this is interesting, this, because, I mean, the easy answer would be it's just a better film. But when you think of this, and it does take itself a little bit more serious, but there is a lot of cheese in this. Why does this work so well and Street Fighter didn't?
I think Street Fighter didn't really have a very good source, and they just went a bit nuts. I think this tried to again, I think it's down to the direction and the director of it, for a start. But again, like back in the day, like we had none of these cinematic cut screens. We had font. I mean, whoever knows the fucking storyline from Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, do you know what I mean? It was just fun.
I mean, the characters had little snippets, but they didn't really have like long backstory, did they?
Well, we didn't really get epic ends until you completed a level on Tekken. Do you know what I mean? Years later, it was just scrolling text. We knew the characters, but we didn't know the backstory. The arcade games were massive, and you know what I mean. I mean, this, I think Mortal Kombat 3 was out before this came out, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Well, this is 95, isn't it? Yeah.
Now, Rob Shu Rao. Now, I just want to point out, Robin, or whatever you want to call this guy, he is also in Tekken. Or no, he's in Tekken or he's in Street Fighter 2. And the guy who plays Shao Kahn, he is also in the new Tekken. So the kind of like with the new films, like Tekken could have been a nice little love letter to this era of films. Just didn't really go outside the box for casting. But he sort of fell off the radar a bit. She, who's just appeared there, is from Last Action Hero.
Well, Sonya
Blade.
His daughter. Which did all of her own stunts in this, by the way. I think the scene where she actually fights Kano, she did have a bit of an issue with her shoulder.
That effect on his eyes, fucking class. Oh! Hang on. Keep talking.
We're hanging. So I think
the Red Hoods just fell over.
You what?
The Red Hoods just fell over and knocked my control pad, so I don't even know where I'm at.
Kano just about to go down a shaft of some sort.
Kano's about to... Oh, yeah, right, I'm there. He's winking. Rave. Sonya battling through.
I'm a couple of seconds. Australian now, isn't he? That's right, yeah.
He's also in Deep Rising. Boom! Proper 90s shotgun, that.
Definitely.
Like I said, I grew up with the games, but for me, it's mainly Mortal Kombat 2 on the SNES.
Yeah, it was. Well, it was uncut on the SNES, wasn't it? Because on Mortal Kombat 1, you had to put a cheat code in.
The bit was taken off, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, how
And
people
then you
knew
got
the fatalities and shit like that.
Mojave book out, Kombat 2 with death moves.
You did, just to try and get a fatality. There's nothing worse though, because you literally hit 20 combinations and then you just miss it by a second, or it just didn't work, and you end up doing like a punch. Such a build-up.
Yeah, and those are the days before the internet.
Now,
it's a good shot of Johnny Cage walking through.
It is. Well, Johnny Van Damme was offered the role, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, he turned it down for Street Fighter. But the interesting thing is, right, this guy here looks like an absolute carbon copy of Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
You would think this guy is the perfect role for Johnny Cage, yet he wasn't the first choice. Brandon Lee was actually the original person to play, or at least the original choice to play before he died.
What do you think, Brandon? Really, I mean, I'm not being like cultural or anything like that, but you think they would cast him for Liu Kang?
Yeah. Or I would have actually seen him more of if they had used him as Nightwolf.
Oh, Nightwolf's in the second one, isn't he? This is where you fall down. Now, I don't know if you guys ever played Mortal Kombat 9, but I absolutely loved that game when they played that, and the backstories, and they took the first 3 games together and put it into one and gave the characters backstory. It's so addictive to play, like.
Yeah, so confused. How many is up to now? 20 or something like that, is it?
11.
It's 11 now.
So,
and you can look at the director here, guys, right?
Spielberg.
It made him look so much like Spielberg because Spielberg was meant to cameo. That was the whole plan. He was supposed to cameo, but apparently scheduling conflicts got in the way.
I mean, why doesn't Paul?
They still made him look.
It's like this guy. This guy here is sitting in his seat. I mean, he meant to be famous or something. Because he's just got that look like he's fucking Kenny Rogers or something. Now, I've got to say this, right? Now, you know the guy who plays... Who's the baddie who turns up at the end? It's not Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn?
Shao Kahn, aye.
He's in the X-Files.
Yeah. And how long we're in?
Well, to be honest with you, I think Kano was in the X-Files, but I'm not sure. But, like, before Red Hood statue fell over, thank you, Zavi, the effect on Kano's eyes, fucking class.
Yeah, definitely.
I do like how you say practical effects, but then so the CGI is a proper 90s CGI, isn't it?
Now,
CGI.
What I found really, really funny about this is I started watching this at work, and then you guys were like, "Oh, let's do Mortal Kombat," and I was like, "Well, I only watched half of it. I think Goro just appeared." And then you guys were all like, "Oh," and I fucking dug the fuck out of my room trying to find the DVD, and I couldn't find it. So I had to bite the bullet and fucking buy this.
Let's be honest with you, it's a very nice purchase that you've just made. I mean, the Blu-ray, I'm going to mention now, is a stunning Blu-ray as far as the conversion goes. And let's be fair, if you don't have it, or if someone has robbed it from you, let's just be happy that you've now got it.
Well, I just want to say, though, how much work Paul Anderson put into the Event Horizon release. The documentary on Event Horizon's amazing, and this has got fuck all. It's got the
thing about this is I meant to ask you before when you bought it. Are you carrying many copies of it? Because I think I've got a funny feeling it wasn't that long ago where this was actually quite a hard Blu-ray to find.
Mortal Kombat Annihilation is extremely hard to find now. That has been released on Blu-ray, and it will cost you. But this is part of what was the game? Oh, because of Sonic, when Sonic came out, games.
Super Mario Brothers, Street Fighter, and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm going to say it has looked brilliant so far, but like when the screen pulls out, the buildings are looking a bit questionable.
Right, well hang on, the little kid is running up the stairs now. Are we about the same line? The little kid's running up the stairs?
Liu Liu Kang still just about there now, yep. Just.
Tell me when, sorry to people who listen to this, and fuck's sake, man, can you never get it right? Right, Liu Kang, it's coming.
No.
The camera is rolling up to Liu Kang now. No,
Yeah,
he is not
that's
one of
something
us. I'm going to look for a camera cut. He's making his statement. Are we close? Right. There's a
camera just,
shadow of Raiden.
no shading there. The cameras look. Oh, there we go. Shadow of Raiden now.
Yep.
Right. Okay. So
Chimes.
the most controversial casting, Christopher Lambert is playing Raiden.
Yes.
Now, Christopher Lambert is French. He's played Connor McLeod, who's Scottish. Raiden is Chinese. Yep. I want to say Chinese or Japanese?
Yep.
Right.
I would say it's Chinese.
And here we go. It's... I mean, don't get us wrong. Lambert was fucking huge after Highlander. His name was a bankable name on this. But after this, he didn't do much, guys.
Nah. Well, who was the original casting for Raiden, do you know?
No.
You wouldn't believe it. It's a Highlander connection.
Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Why would
They
Sean
originally
Connery
wanted-
be
they
cast?
originally wanted Sean Connery for this.
Why? The Lord of
It's
Thunder.
just as bizarre as asking Christopher Lambert, to be honest with you.
I mean, you talk about the casting, right? I mean, you got Van Damme, who's got tattooed fucking. He's meant to be Guile, and he's fucking from Brussels. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
come on. Liu Kang, perfect casting.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get us wrong. Lambert, he's there. And he's got the croaky voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
I love the fact that when I first watched this, I thought that was Christopher Lambert putting on a really interesting voice for him, and then I found everything else he watched, and I was like, no, that's just Christopher Lambert talking.
You have to turn the volume up every time he talks and turn it back down when it goes too loud again.
Apparently he dubbed his own voice in the French version of this film, no? There's always that.
Mortal Kombat.
it's just a weird casting. A weird casting.
I feel like you can say they tried, not in terms of like say Christopher Lambert, but they tried to build on as much as they could. But then, like you said, it's about putting a name on the poster.
Well,
like I said, I would say that Liu Kang's perfect, but let's be honest with you, who was he?
there's a lot of unknowns.
Before this, so there's no way you can put his name on it.
I mean, I think he's called Robin, or I think he's called Robin, I think. But he's only, I think he's in Beverly Hills Ninja, but he's 14k in the Death
He is.
Race as well.
Robin Shaw.
Robin Shaw. He's 14k in the Death Races, but like, he's been in a few. But again, I think he's in either the Street Fighter 2 Legend of Chun-Li or the Tekken movie.
Street Fighter, The Legends of Chun-Li.
Yeah.
He's also in Dead or Alive. That's a video game adaptation.
Oh,
Holly Philance.
kiss.
Yeah, remember when she was massive though? Like everyone was loving that girl.
I still do.
Yeah.
Isn't taken.
Only in Neighbours though. I only liked her in Neighbours.
Now, isn't it weird that New Line took this on? Like Warner Brothers took it on the chances of it when Sony had Street Fighter.
New Line
What
were.
was the video game before this? Sorry, what video game film was before this?
Street Fighter, wasn't it?
Is that the only one though? In terms of
And then Super Mario Brothers.
big one.
Well, Super Mario
Really,
Brothers
it's a
was a
gamble in itself, isn't it? Because they all kind of failed.
yeah.
Still
Super
good
Mario
guess.
Brothers is fucking questionable.
Well, I mean, it goes against the whole idea. This is what I don't understand, right? Because with this, in my argument, it's kind of going against what I'm saying because this one takes the story to a certain extent. I mean, look at it. You're in a modern day world.
Look at that boat
and that
coming
ship
in.
fucking rocks up. Nobody's going to question that at all, seriously. I don't care if you go to Tokyo or not. This is not like a normal ship to rock up. No one's going to sit there and go, yeah, this is the ship I'm supposed to be getting on. But it dances on the line of fantasy. It plays with itself in the way that it allows you to be, okay, I believe what's going on, but you can like kind of think, oh right, okay, things are going to get a bit spooky. Whereas I feel like every other computer game doesn't do that. You know, Resident Evil has the most perfect plot line to do a horror film, and that when you watch that, it's like, hold on, you've literally just thrown out all the greatest parts of that game, and then thrown in really bad Hollywood storyline.
Same director.
Like I say, with Mario Brothers. I mean, in all fairness, not an awful lot you can do with Mario Brothers. Back then, the imagination probably wasn't there as terms of putting it on the big screen. But a lot of video games just play around way too much with it and just think, just do what it is. Just represent.
Saying, Carl, this is the same director as Resident Evil.
Is that right?
Hmm.
Ah, interesting.
Paul Anderson, yeah. Or Paul W. Anderson now.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah.
I just get rid of Resident Evil films. There's so many of them now. I forget which one's which.
Well, I think I got up to the third one, and I just chose not to punish myself anymore.
Was that Afterlife one?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. In the desert, I think.
Well, I think, if I'm not wrong, one of the like, because Paul W. Anderson's directed quite a few, because he came back to direct them. But I'm sure, is it not John McTiernan or something who directs the third one? Who directed Die Hard and Predator?
I could do a fact check if you want.
Have a back check, dude. I'm sure someone really famous directed the fourth one or the third one. I'm like, what the fuck? And then it went back to Anderson.
John who? Sorry, what was he saying now?
John McTiernan, I think.
Yeah, John McTiernan.
Directed. Well, it's coming up straight away with Die Hard. He's done Die Hard. He did the remake of Rollerball. He did Last Action Hero. He did Predator. As a director, no, it doesn't look like he's done any of them, man.
It might be.
As a director, he's not actually done that many. He went Nomads, Predator, Die Hard, The Hunt for Red October, Medicine Man, Last Action Hero, Die Hard with a Vengeance, The Thomas Crown Affair, 13 Warrior, Rollerball, Basics, and then the one in pre-production, Tau Kitty 4.
Oh, he hasn't fucking...
was it saying Scorpion? No, like as a kid seeing Scorpion and Sub-Zero on the TV. Of course he done it.
Well, there with the...
The guy who played Scorpion was only brought in to be a stunt actor. And then he got this role, but apparently they got someone else to do the voice, which I've never understood that. Especially if you haven't got a very distinctive voice. I mean, these guys have got masks on, they just got to sound intimidating. So I can understand, like, David Prowse not getting...
Oh, right. Sorry to cut you off. It's Russell McClure who directed Highlander. Directed Mortal Kombat. Extinction, the third one.
Right, Resident Evil.
Yeah, Resident Evil. He directed Highlander. Right. And then they went back to Paul W. Anderson. But seeing Scorpion and Sub-Zero...
unusual in itself.
Sorry, what? Sorry, bud?
I see, which is unusual to go like back and forth.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, obviously you won't have to try other things and we'll come back. Now, just pointing out as well, when you used to play the arcade game and stuff like that, right? You didn't know that Scorpion and Sub-Zero were like the bad guys. You just liked them because that was who you picked. And then for but for then the film to sort of chuck them two together as like, because in the story. I mean, recently there's a new Mortal Kombat Legends released, and it's called Scorpion's Revenge, and it is essentially this movie retooled in Warner Brothers Animation, but obviously setting up like more Scorpion is actually on their side, and it follows very similar traits to the movie.
Have you seen Mortal Kombat Legacy?
I absolutely love the original concept. But then I thought it'd start falling out and I never finished it, unfortunately.
I personally think you could have a story all on its own with the rivalry between Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
Oh, yeah.
I love that backdrop of the story, like the idea that there were just kind of guys in their own clan. And of course, it naturally would have to be that it was a whole deception. Like, you know, they weren't actually bad men, but they got told, you know, one done something else to the other, what he hadn't. And then caused a massive war. But then they played on the idea back on the game, so didn't they? I can't remember what you call him now. It's one of the other bad guys in the game. The one who, the bald one with the face paint.
Quin Shi, or whatever he's called.
Quin Chi, yeah. Apparently in the game they're playing off on that now. That apparently he. Scorpion.
Yeah, he in the animated thing.
Yeah.
In the animated thing, he brings him back. Yeah.
Is that right? Okay, so they're playing with that.
Yeah.
Isn't like a new? I want to do like a new Mortal Kombat film.
Yeah, they started filming it. Yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see.
But then again, there was also little details like Baraka in that Mortal Kombat Legacy. I don't know if it would work for a movie, but I just found it such an intriguing backstory. You know, rather than it being mystical and you know that he's just a creature from a different realm, he's actually like a surgeon who kind of is psychotic and implanted loads of blades on him and stuff like that.
They tried loads because like. I was going to say they tried loads because Mortal Kombat 3 was like fucking hell. But then Mortal Kombat 4 they started dipping into the 3D realm. And it didn't really... I mean, look at it now. It's gone back to like the side-scrolling. The 3D really didn't work because they tried to follow Tekken. But they tried platforming games like Sub-Zero or Jack's Ops. And there was loads of spin-offs. And even like what was really good was the Shaolin Monks when you were Kung Lao and it was like Streets of Rage. That really worked. But they didn't do a sequel, or they've never went back to it. But then obviously, NetherRealm Studios, or whichever Midway was obviously picked up by Warner Brothers, or whatever's happened to that. And we've had the DC games and all that kinds of stuff. So it's essentially been look out, flying skulls.
Nice.
It's funny because you can tell it's like some sets. You can tell it's like we'll go down into a proper island, so I think they've done a good job with like cinematography, but it's a very early 1990s effect, isn't it?
Yeah,
well,
you can feel its age in that respect.
Well, and to be honest with you, he's in the X-Files. I think as well the director was hungry as fuck, and I think he's fresh out of university. He come along at a time very fresh, like following the footsteps of I think maybe it's David Fincher. You know what I mean? I mean, Richard Stanley had a really big break in the early 90s. So there was a lot of British directors getting breaks in America for just being open-minded enough to try CGI because the directors like Spielberg, Spielberg was a bad example, but like there was some directors in the 80s that had been around the 70s and 80s and that were a bit scared to take on these projects. So they were looking for cheap new directors with like the mindset, you know what I mean, to be able to tell these stories, to translate it from a game, because it's an established franchise, and what's the one thing you do with a film? Don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
I love this bit. So the cage with books.
But this is what I love about it as well, is the fact that just what you said before, Paul, about them playing on both like sides of the scenery, because, I mean, 1 minute you're on a set, clearly, but then I think this is probably going to be one of them. But Stephen, you'll probably be able to relate to this from one of the episodes of Welcome to the Land of a Long White Cloud. Is that a lot of these locations you could only get to by the canoes that they were just on a few minutes ago.
I think this is Thailand.
They detailed enough to go into a location that was justified for a film like this.
I would say this is Thailand or Hawaii.
Yeah. It reminds me of Enter the Dragon, really, doesn't it? Where they go to an island for a tournament.
Enter the Dragon, Bloodsport, it's that whole, I mean, they were big films. You know, people want to see fighting tournaments, you know what I mean? And then you just throw... So, you know, people may have never picked up the video game, but, like, Mortal Kombat was groundbreaking, man. You're fucking uppercutting people's heads off. You're ripping people's spinal columns off. Now, this has not aged well.
But it's, you know what it is? It's a distraction, because I'm just laughing at Johnny Cage and his ridiculousness for insisting on keeping those suitcases out.
It does look good HD, though. They've done a really good job converting it and changing it around. You know, the quality on it does look really good.
Yeah.
Now, I believe New Line, Entertainment and Video actually released the second one. And this one is through New Line. Because, again, I would personally stick both of them together in one box set. I wouldn't be fucking...
That's the second one.
Huh? What
So
was-
we can. What is it? With box set.
Can we appreciate Katana right now? Because that is a beautiful woman.
Are you dissing? Are you dissing the second one?
Definitely.
You know what it is? I think there's some love for the second one. Not by many people, but I think if I rewatch it, don't get me wrong, I haven't seen it for years, I could be very wrong. But I do kind of feel that there's elements in the second one that are quite good. I just feel like...
this bit with Reptile, this hasn't aged well.
Oh, the CGI is awful.
Oh. Sorry, what were you saying, Carl?
I would say that I'm going to have to watch it again just to kind of stand by what I'm saying now. But I do believe the second one does have some scenes that I think were done really well. And as a video game adaptation, I think there are some elements of it, but it just falls apart because of how bad the acting is. I feel like you could take any movie, even if it's a B movie or a blockbuster, it's only made by the people who are selling the lines. And I think for a lot of the actors and actresses in that film, I would be very surprised if anyone knew what Mortal Kombat was. I'd feel like, I mean, even I think Katana's mum, which I forget her name, she's done a few things, you know, as an actress, but it's absolutely awful in that film. Every line that she delivers is just bad.
Now, you have forgot my friend JJ Perry is Scorpion in that movie and Cyrax, are
Hey, no, I mean, don't get me wrong. I have just, listen, who else can you find that would give some credit to Annihilation? I'm not being funny. I don't know anybody who would sit there and go, oh yeah, it's got some good in it. I do believe it does, but that is probably one of the most kind of, I wouldn't say hated, but, you know, made fun of movies. I think Mario Brothers might get an extra point or two on over Annihilation.
I'm gonna say he didn't have a great time in that movie, but I've done the podcast for just that on my own, like, and just talked about it, and I watched it, and I was just like, I was fucking glad it was over. But I'll be gladly revisit it with you guys if you want. I don't know where the fuck it is now though.
I mean, yeah, I would say, like I've just said before, I've not seen it for years. I would happily revisit it, just, even for shits and giggles, you know what I mean? Just to make, even if it is made fun of, or even if it is just like, okay, this is awful, but why? You know, because I feel like every film has a justification of being a good film. I just feel like, for me personally, it's the acting.
Yeah.
I just don't believe anyone had the passion for what Mortal Kombat represented to really sell the film. Although I would then say, you know, people like Scorpion and people like that and Reptile, I would probably give credit that they probably did. I would imagine them sort of actors would have looked into what are they playing, but a lot of those characters were just actresses and actors being told you're a centaur, that's all you are, and go for it.
I like this bit where he showed off all his powers and stuff like that. Sub-Zero versus one of the Foot Clan.
Yes.
I mean, again, the Foot Clan. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them having one of the cast being killed off. Like one of the. I mean, they use every single cast. They don't. They don't use. Kitana, right? So I was just about to say they don't use any of the cast from Mortal Kombat 2 as in a game, but Jax and Kitana are in this.
Yeah. Although, if you didn't know the game, you had no idea that Jax was in this.
Well, that's
he's not a character that is developed at all.
I mean, even the guy Johnny Cage is talking to there, he isn't an established character in the game. There's nothing stopping him being like. I mean, I don't think Cabal and all that was around there. Well, not Jax the story, but like if there was somebody else from Mortal Kombat 2 or anything like that. Because I'm sure the third one was out by the time this came out.
Yeah. But then, I mean, I'm going to be the guy to say it out there, but like when you think of the cast on the island, so these are like, I mean, obviously anyone who's like Jax is now gone, you know, as we know. Sorry, spoiler alert, he doesn't come back in the film, but it sounds awful, but it's a reality, right? You needed a black guy. I mean, when you look at the entire cast, this is going to take a lot of focus on the island now, and they wanted to cast a black guy. So the question is, why wasn't it Jax? Why have Jax in the beginning of the film, and then
No, I haven't.
recreate a whole different character to play the guy on the island. It would have made more sense to be Jax if you're going to go political and say, right, we do want to make sure there's at least one black guy on the screen. Then why not have been Jax? That's a decision that I would have questioned.
Well, the biggest question as well, no spoilers here, but like the fact is, this is the main three, and you've got Christopher Lambert, so that's the four. And
Yeah.
Kano, Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Reptile, Goro, all get killed. I think one of them should have got killed.
Yeah.
It's a fight to the death kind of thing, and it's kind of like, well, like, and you think, oh, well, you know, they might want to do a sequel. Why kill off two of the most, like, I'm not being funny, but Johnny Cage, Sonya, and Liu Kang are the second team, because Scorpion and Sub-Zero are always going to be the A team when we talk about Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, totally. I think when you're playing the game, Johnny Cage, I think, was a popular character because, you know, he had the comic relief. You know, like the finisher move where he signed an autograph and did that. Sonya, I would say, is kind of a badass female role. Liu Kang, I'll be honest with you, is very generic as a video game. And again, I know this makes me sound awful, but he's a Chinese martial artist, you know what I mean? A very generic character.
Well, if you look back at it, you go, Johnny Cage was based off Jean-Claude Van Damme. Raiden was based off one of the from Lightning from Big Trouble in Little China.
Of course.
There's a lot of Sub-Zero is from like Sub-Zero's name could come from Running Man. You never know. You know what I mean? It's like
true. Yeah.
There's a lot of inspiration and pop culture for just essentially making a concept of a video game that's just it's a fighter, but obviously what got everyone going was fucking ripping people's heads off and shit, man.
Yeah. Well, listen, Goro should never have gone the way he did. I would totally buy that. He gets a fight with Johnny Cage, and Johnny Cage gets the better of him. That's a fine scene. But to actually kill him off is just a really bizarre move, because look at him, and he's such an interesting character to work with. You know, you could do anything with him.
It's ambitious as well, because they could have just not had Goro.
And it could have been just as badly CGI'd as the Reptile. You know, but they actually went with practical effects here, because that is a real head. That is an animatronic head, so you know what I mean? They did kind of go a lot more with him than they did with anything else in terms of special effects.
I think he looks awesome.
He looks amazing. And like, how can you not like use a dramatic fight? I mean, like you see, the Johnny Cage fight was fine. We understand that's what was kind of added to the film. But I mean, as Mortal Kombat, a fighting tournament, Goro should have had at least a couple of fight scenes before his demise.
He does that montage thing, doesn't he, where there's loads of dead bodies flying everywhere, something like that, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I need a montage.
I wonder if the issue with his movement, because obviously I would say, given what I've just seen there, even knocking the cup over doesn't look like a hand knocked the cup over. It looked like, it almost looked like if you used like an action figure to knock a cup over. You know, it felt like it was more of a broad
We need to watch Grizzly. Because that's just like someone getting hit in the face with like a bear paw. It's like, bah, you're dead.
Paul, have you got much praise for this film? I mean, I know that you said you liked it, but I mean, what did you think when you first saw it at the cinema? Did you watch the cinema?
Video.
I've seen this at the cinema, yeah.
But I only watched this a few weeks ago, actually, when we went to watching after watching rental reviews on YouTube about it. So I fancy watching it. So this is the second time I've seen it in a few weeks. But no, I've always enjoyed this one. I love the music. You know, that Mortal Kombat song which I have on now and then.
I would say that's quite
pure
iconic.
90s techno, that. But even the candles, I mean, there's a lot of really nice lighting in this movie.
Yeah.
Which doesn't have, I mean, to be honest with you, you look at them, then you cut back to there, and the lighting doesn't match. Like, they've got blues and candlelight, and then it clicks to Goro, and he's just like bland.
Brown. I've seen those one-up player things. I think I sent Carl a picture the other night. The Mortal Kombat ones, like,
Yeah.
They look really good, they're only like half the size and that. But yeah, I remember going to like where on the Granger Street where Cash Converters is, that used to be an arcade, going in there instead of school playing Mortal Kombat 2 on the arcade machines.
You hustling, are you?
We used to play it on holiday. We used to go to Butland quite a lot, or campsite, and so like the kids area was always like an amusement / arcade system, and we used to go, me and my brother and about 3 or 4 of my cousins, and every like time we went abroad, when we went to go on holiday, it would always find the arcade, and then sometimes it wasn't Mortal Kombat. To be fair, I think for a long time one of the ones we used to go for is Turtles. That was a great arcade game for like a 2-player physical arcade game. I mean, we must have spent an absolute fortune.
Simpsons was good.
Simpsons was an awesome one. I actually remember playing that for the first time. I don't know why. These are things about my brain I never understand why I hold on to certain bits of information. But it was the air show in Sunderland, and we were there for like hours. And I remember going into this arcade for a little bit, and I discovered the Simpsons arcade, and I was on it for ages.
Is it the one about versus the Space Mutants one?
No, it's when Mr. Burn kidnaps Matty.
Yeah, but that is, to me, the game that would make me make angry video game, nerd video.
Yeah.
Because the bartaker on the world, or the aliens or whatever, is like there's certain parts of it that is just entertaining, but then there's certain like when you had to collect the spray can, and they were always in the most ridiculous spots. And in theory, unless you, in a lot of cases with arcade games like that, unless you did it wrong, you didn't get it, because had to jump on a ledge that was just right, and sometimes the graphics weren't perfect, so you were meant to jump on a ledge, and you don't.
Yeah. Can you guys remember when like Super Nintendo games were $4.99 for a cartridge?
Yeah.
Or like the Sega games were so expensive, and now they're all like collector's items. Usually
To be honest with you, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I went to a Comic-Con, the first one I went to in Newcastle. Anyone who goes to Comic-Con go there for certain reasons. I think I was talking this to you about this, Stephen. Is like when I think of Comic-Con, I think some people go for the guests, some people go for cosplay, some people go for the merch. Now, I was always for the guy who went for the guest, but I'm walking around for the first time seeing all this merchandise. Some of it is absolutely amazing, some of it is handmade, some of it just old stuff that you haven't seen for years, and there was legitimately brand new PlayStation 1 games. I say brand new, there was still like the cases were perfect, but they weren't sealed, they were actually like pre-owned, but and they were like priced at about £35 to £40 each. And I was like, am I missing something there? And like the bloke was like, yeah, collectible. And I was like, how am I to a certain age now where something that I bought is deemed as like retro?
Oh, just I mean, if you go to Games Galaxy in concert, they've got games in their display unopened, and they're £1,000.
Yeah.
And they're selling them. They're fucking selling them, and that's what's scary.
Yeah, people buying. Yeah. Oh, what is it? I mean, we were talking about
clothesline.
Sonya is cool.
A nice clothesline. That never would work though. You would have to have a tremendous amount of forearm strength. Because I've seen people do this for clothesline before in a lot of films. But you know what it is? I'm saying it, and I'm hearing it. Do you want to say it, Stephen?
It's just a movie.
It's just a movie. But it's just it's a weird thing, because not just Mortal Kombat, I've seen that done in so many different types of films, where someone just literally holds an arm out and they do like some forward flip. And it's like, how strong?
Oh, like in Demolition Man with Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Best clothesline in wrestling at the moment though, Bray Wyatt.
Aye.
When he just turns around and it just fucking just beheads people. It's just
I just want to say, I love how like Christopher Lambert's actually having fun with this character. You can tell he's just having so much fun.
Oh mate, he has got like a paycheck. I did a podcast for Mean Guns, right? And Mean Guns was filmed. Mean Guns, bang bang. And that was filmed, I think, the year after the summit. And it's basically him, Ice-T, loads of assassins in a lockdown prison. Last one alive wins. Christopher Lambert worked for 2 days, and he got half of the budget of the fucking movie.
Fucking hell. But I have read that Christopher Lambert is a very big gamer. So I wouldn't be entirely surprised if he was like proper hype for this role. If he already kind of knew about the source and thought this is awesome, I'm gonna really like play this up.
Oh, at the time, Christopher Lambert was fucking huge, and having him in a small role. I mean, he's an international star. Again, I think we were going to have another few Highlanders after this. But he made his money independently. But I think this was his last big picture one, because Fortress was a big hit a couple of years beforehand.
Fortress.
Yeah.
What's the
Well,
one
the thing I saw him in was MTI.
Oh, you were saying that.
Los Angeles. It was funny because sorry, Paul, I don't think you know it. I remember I was sitting there, Mason, he mentioned Highland. I might have been watching your video, Mason, when Rich watching it for the first time. And I thought, you know what, I haven't seen that for so long. So I sat and watched it, and I thought, I haven't seen Christopher Lambert for ages. And it was only like a day or two later I decided to do like a binge on NCIS Los Angeles randomly. And he like plays, like he's not a core character at all, but like he has about 5 episodes. He's like a pretty big character. I thought that's so weird because he is sitting there in Los Angeles in a modern world kind of scenario, and I'm sitting there going, that's fucking Raiden. That's all I'm hearing, you know.
See again.
This guy seemed like he could have been a character.
Aye, but he's not. He's just one of them characters made for the game.
Yeah. I love that slow motion. I didn't know it would work with a lot of films, but it just, I don't know, the tension now is like it's real in terms of
it's a show that
happen. Yeah. Oh, I mean, that's some conditioner on there, like.
I mean, don't get us wrong, he's in amazing shape and all that, but like...
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we haven't seen him up until this point.
Yeah, true.
I mean, what, like...
Well, this is the first real part of Kombat, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when does Immortal come in?
What?
He is the mortal. Do you think this film, as good as this was received, it's a great film, people loved it, but do you think it could have been serviced better by having more scenes like this, more actual fights in the combat tournament rather than?
I think the problem is,
a little bit and then go back to scene.
I think the problem is this is the part of where you go, right, Super Mario Brothers didn't really work, and then you're talking the middle of the 90s. And like you're looking at like the audience of like who doesn't know who these are, and again going back to what I said, unless you're a fucking die-hard fan, you're like no one really knew the backstory of these characters anyway, unless you read the fucking font. And you've got to make it so the audience knows. And again, like if it was made now, they would have killed one of the main characters. They would have killed one of the 3 characters off earlier on. Because
I don't know about that, because I'm thinking, who would you go with? Because Liu Kang's obviously being set up to be this main character, even though I don't feel like it's done that too much at the moment. But you can't kill Liu Kang off because of the story with his brother. I feel like, who would you go with? Johnny Cage?
You would kill Johnny Cage off.
Who gets a cut?
You would kill Johnny Cage off.
Right.
And if they remade it now, I would kill Liu Kang. Because Liu Kang dies in the games anyway and comes back as one of the, like, gods, doesn't he? It's some form of fucking weirdness.
True, but then you wouldn't be able to use this story to, like, say, killing Liu Kang, especially when the whole build-up to being, like, he's really there to avenge his brother's death.
But again, though, the problem is, there's too much backstory going on. There's too much backstory of all these characters, as well as put them in this fucking weird realm where there's mythological, there's fucking supernatural, and like the the pending doom.
Yeah. See, that's the Well, listen, that's the interesting thing. You cut that whole beginning bit out where he's dreaming of his brother, and then cut out the bit where at the end with his brother again. That makes no difference to this film.
No.
Take those completely out of this film, and you get the same film.
But what they've done is give him a reason to fight. Like, you know what I mean? He's the one who got away. He's the angry one who's come to fight back. But again, should that not be Johnny Cage? Again, it's one of those things where, because it's the 90s, these characters just get killed off. The cannon fodder.
I think the main downside of this was because it was 12, like PG and 12, wasn't it?
No, it was a 15, bro. It was a 15.
Was it 15?
Yeah, because I wasn't old enough to go and see the pictures, so my Nana took us. I mean, I was 14, and got in to see it, no problem, at the Metro Centre.
Right. I think now we need to be probably 18. I mean, It needs a violence. It needs to get gritty.
But that's what my main concern is for this potential remake that they're doing. I know the term gets used a lot, but I don't want it to go all DC dark. You know, I feel like it still has to have that campiness of the game, because I think that's what people love about this film, is that it still relates to the game and it's gritty enough to a certain extent. Whereas I feel if you go too strong with the gore aspect or the kind of the darkness of the story, I think it just becomes another generic fighting film that doesn't really make money.
If this was made now, yeah, and it did really well, the big spin-offs, you know, like Fast and Furious, be like, obviously the Scorpion.
But that's why they wouldn't kill the characters off, though. There'd be no jeopardy.
Well, listen, you need to have that kind of...
I mean, one person dies in Street Fighter, and that's fucking Bison.
Oh, God, that's so bad. Was that a reverse thing then?
That's a Hurricanrana, that coming down. But, unlike the game where she takes him over, she takes him down, she needs to cross the ankles. She needs to cross the ankles. And she doesn't.
There's no real pressure on that, is there?
And then he would go, oh, give us a break, okay.
Just spit in his gob like he spits on another leg.
Now, from this neck break here, though, we get Sub-Zero and Scorpion die next. Let's say straight away, there we go.
Yeah,
like,
just back to back, yeah.
But again, like, visually, I mean, that's stunning. That is absolutely stunning, this fight scene in the woods.
Yes,
but it makes no fucking sense about what they've just been doing. It's a tournament. I mean, alright, Johnny Cage and Scorpion have just gone in the woods to have a fight. I mean, really?
Shouldn't there be like a referee and someone watching it, shouldn't there?
Now, it's great that they put this in, but making it a fucking lizard.
It's just, that looks so bad.
Yeah.
Robin Hood? Robin Hood, anyone?
Yeah. In terms of the story, though, has Shang Tsung asked Scorpion to take him out? Because if that's the case, would he not, like, then forfeit Johnny Cage's soul? Which then leads to think, why is this scene even happening? Surely Shang Tsung wants... Well, so you always gotta go for sweep the leg, absolutely. I just feel like, obviously, in terms of, it's not even, it's just a movie kind of reference now. It just feels like, I get it, and I mean, that cartwheel looked awful.
It's just a movie.
Social distancing.
That looks terrible. But no, in the sense of, like, if you're driving the story, again, why is he wandering the woods on his own, and what's happening? Is
Shadow Kid?
Scorpion going rogue? I want to know, is he going rogue? Is he going against Shang Tsung's orders? Or there's been no dialogue, really.
I mean, there as well, this just looked amazing, but again, it's just like, right, it just looks like a set from the game, and I think that's I mean, there, great reveal, but like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But again, it's sporting the game. It looks like the fucking king from Super Mario Brothers has laid waste to that place.
I'm getting a very Goonies pirate ship vibe.
It looks like the under the stairs in Little Monsters from Fred Savage. That's what it looks like. The underworld.
Fred Savage, he needs to make a comeback.
He was in Austin Powers, wasn't it?
Well, actually, if you go with his most recent thing, he did a cameo with Deadpool, didn't he?
Oh, that Christmas one.
Yeah.
Yeah, never bothered. I'm not giving Marvel any more money.
Yeah, I didn't buy into that. I certainly didn't want to buy another copy of it just for, you know, a non-violent version of the film. It's been weird.
I mean, the fight scenes are really good in this, like, it's one thing that has got.
Oh, you can tell a lot of people have actually put the effort in.
There's a couple of little cheesy bits coming up. I think when he gets backflipped off, it's mental.
I like how the dust is on the floor, and every time he gets kicked or hit, it just goes off from a little bit, so that's a good indication of
this bit here.
Oh, God.
His ankles, oof.
Yep.
Yeah. But again, that bit there, you know, that's some really close combat there. You know, modern day films now would have zoomed right in on that, so you didn't have to look at half the movement.
Is that a sequel? Close Combat?
Yeah. It's actually a prequel.
Oh. That would be.
I mean, that just wouldn't happen. That fucking backflip, fucking chest kick land on his feet.
Yeah.
Oh, acrobatics. Oosh.
That's about as random as the.
He's 26.
You know it is. You're right there. But
What
I was
the
actually thinking of
fuck?
is Jurassic World when Jeff Goldblum's daughter just starts randomly doing like gymnastics. I mean, it's a reference because she mentioned in the earlier the film, but no, sorry, I don't accept it.
Get down here.
Yeah. Dinosaurs.
They kicked you off the team?
Very bad. Well, screaming and running and well, and that's how it happens. Yeah.
Now this bit
He's
here.
going to be up there as an entertaining actor, like one of the most entertaining actors, Jeff Goldblum.
No.
Think of all these roles, he's always entertaining to look at.
You think?
Oh, there it is.
Right.
Toasty.
Let's go.
That's bad. Now this image of Jason the Argonauts. Or Legend.
Now this is risky though, this,
the fact that
because
he's wearing a skull hat.
I mean, at the moment though, this is what's risky as fuck because there's no weapons in Mortal Kombat. To this point.
Yeah. And that spear actually referenced more the spear that Scorpion has when he does the whole get over here move, rather than the reptile thing.
I guess he's got a spitting headache.
I mean, at the end of the day, Scorpion and Sub-Zero are back in the next one, so it doesn't really.
Fine, let's.
Yeah. Well, Scorpion can't die, can he? That's random.
Well, that's
As far as the joke goes, that's very random for the tone of this film so far.
for the tone of the film. It's a nod to the gamers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
End credits.
do
And,
get
A massive tournament, yet we're already on round 2 with Liu Kang. And we've seen 3 fights. Official ones.
Kitana. Isn't she like 10,000 years old?
Yeah. I suppose you've got to have a love interest for every film. Well, that's not true, you don't have to, but it seemed in the 90s you definitely had to be.
I mean, look at that
Now,
backdrop.
that's
I
a
mean,
nice shot.
definitely Thailand.
Yeah.
The budget was 20 million, and it did 122.1 million at the box office. So
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good result.
Yeah. Oh.
85. Have a quick look.
I wish they kept his hair slicked back all the time. He's starting to look a bit angry there. See, I was starting to get really angry.
So in 1985, we had Toy Story, 7, Clueless, Braveheart, Friday, Waterworld, Jumanji, GoldenEye, Bad Boys, Heat, Showgirls, Casper, Apollo 13, Babe, Mallrats, Dangerous Minds, Goofy Movie, Billy Madison, The Net, Tu Wong Fu, Batman Forever, Judge Dredd, Empire Records, First Night, Power Rangers a Movie, While You Were Sleeping, Rubble in the Bronx, Cutthroat Island.
So really, to do what it did is actually even more impressive based on some of those massive films.
I know, but this again, it's the name though. And all the game magazines were massive back then as well. Games Master would have really pushed this. That there was a movie.
I'm not doing another one, number 4.
Yeah, press up, down, left, right, circle.
And then look at the stars, and you'll see Uranus.
So Liu Kang's just had 2 fights back to back.
Yep. And now he's going to fight Sub-Zero. Which is, I take it, this is an unsolicited fight. Unless it's because Katana obviously failed him and disappointed him, that he's maybe turned around and said, right, he should have died because Katana really should have killed him if that was Shang Tsung's plan. So maybe Shang Tsung just said, Sub-Zero, can finish it off.
Was that rated but no what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the first time you sort of see his role that he's always there. You know, I feel like even when he's not on screen, I feel like he's supposed to think that Raiden's actually always lurking somewhere.
He's like Helton mode.
I love running up the walls and backflipping. I mean, who didn't want to try that as a kid?
Yeah, and that red ramp there looks so much like a prop to a set. Like, we need something to roll down or something that's going to be soft that we can. Yep, we'll do that.
Nice little touch on freezing his mask a little bit.
Yeah.
But here, it's a quick death.
It's interesting this. So when you think about it, this film, right, is doing this effect here. Now, I literally did something very, very similar on my phone like a few months ago with this. Well, not necessarily the big globe thing, but literally making it look like I'm in front of snow and that I've controlled it and turned it into a snowball using the power of my mind. And so that's how weird it is these days when you think of technology. Like, I've just done something very similar on my phone that probably looks a little bit more like snow than what this does. But
I mean, the thing is, as well, I mean, what does Sub-Zero think's going to happen? Do you think someone's going to stand there until he freezes them to death?
well, no, he's expanding the globe, isn't he? So eventually you'd have nowhere to look.
But there you
If
go.
someone who was primarily in control of ice, can that person really die of ice?
He was dead.
Chill out, you know. That's a nice shot.
This is those candles and his lighting bills.
I do like that he came back for the game as well, recently.
Well, you think as well that they
Shows
might
he
have,
does care about the character.
you'd think that they might have brought them all back though. Like Christopher Lamb, I've said for years Conor McLeod should have been a character, but you're thinking that the guy who played Liu Kang would have come back, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But that's it, you're getting all these characters. I mean, RoboCop, for God's sakes, it's brilliant. But is it, I mean, are they asking for too much money for Highlander?
Did it have Predator in it?
Sorry?
Did it have Predator in the Mortal Kombat game?
Yeah, the last one, yeah.
Yeah, they did, yeah. I mean, they've kind of covered a lot now.
That's weird.
Yeah. So do you think that this should be the scene where Johnny Cage is killed?
Yes.
Rather than this generic person. This is, I get that, I would buy that scene. I'd get that this is the point of where a main character should die. Because you've built on them enough, they've all had the time to shine, whereas you do need that sense of loss.
That still looks cool.
I mean, they have given us that character back from the start, so there is a little bit. So they have done that. They just haven't killed off one of the main characters, that's all.
Yeah. Do you think it's because he maybe was thinking about a sequel, that he wanted to bring them all back? And
That'll be the
Go
studio,
big,
that'll be the studio. That won't be the director.
Yeah, the soundtrack sounds like the game, doesn't it? You know, the ding, 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 ding.
Oh, you can definitely tell they've merged them together, definitely.
So, from a game to movie, it's still on, I think it's still like the top, like, one of the top ones I've seen.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there was one that was released, I think you could probably definitely say Witcher is a massive success.
And Netflix
Although I feel like it's a hard to judge by world now, because I think like now, of course, Witcher was a success. It's got the money, it's got the backing of a lot of different people. Whereas now it was kind of a challenge for someone to take on a game as a movie. In fact, not even like back in this day and age. I mean, even before Witcher came out, lot of the early 2000s. I mean, Christ, if The Rock couldn't make Doom work, then everyone was a bit panicky.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think the only good thing I can say about Doom is that they had enough fun with it.
Possibly really good.
That's gonna be stop animation. That.
It's a really good film, Sonic, for what it is.
I enjoyed Sonic.
Yeah, it was, but it is. I think what they got there right is that they knew who they were making it for. You know, they weren't trying to take Sonic too serious because they wanted. Because it would have been easy to turn around and say everybody who's in the 30s and 40s are going to want this film because this was the game that they were brought up with. I personally think they got a nice balance between both. There was enough for children of today to enjoy it, but then there's also enough reference and enough kind of nostalgia. But but as far as they've not had a good success.
When did he fucking message us?
Who, Matt?
Aye.
When did he message you? I'm not getting anything on my phone, so it must just be on your end, mate. Goro can be killed.
Goro must die.
Mortal Kombat.
Nah, Johnny Cage should have been killed, man.
No, I love Johnny Cage, man. He's awesome.
But then you see that, but that was the biggest reason why. I mean, don't get me wrong, the acting, like I said, but that was one of the reasons why I felt I turned off in my brain. When, spoiler alert, they killed Johnny Cage off in the first 5 minutes.
That was a contract thing, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it just felt like a cheap move at the time. Like, oh, you're just doing it for shock factor now. There was no legitimate reason to kill him off. Like I say, in your head when you watched it, now that you're looking at Hollywood, you think of who contracted to what, and because it wasn't even the same actor, though, was it?
I always thought it was the same actor.
It couldn't have been a contract thing because I'm pretty sure because that's what made it wonder. So this guy is called Lyndon Ashby, and then let's see.
She never smiled once in this.
Nah, but that's kind of what they went for, and I named her. She was like a badass kind of. I'm not a girl.
Yeah. She looks like she's had some of those that were sweet.
Toxic waste.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Well, I'll try him once more, but it's a bit late for Matt to be joining us, like.
Yeah, we've got this fight all over when turn on and press play, and if we've done that at least once or whatever.
Yeah, so Johnny Cage in Annihilation is played by someone called Chris Conrad. So it couldn't have been a contract then.
Again, though, then they kill him off. Because Johnny Cage gets killed off in the games, you know.
Yeah. But that was long before Annihilation. Was long before that happened, though. I think it was probably well after the Annihilation where characters actually started getting killed off, or they started playing into the storyline that, like I say, Liu Kang couldn't be killed because he was one of the gods and stuff like that. But I still feel like they couldn't really base it on that idea.
Where's Kunro's big hat?
He just looks like he's having a shit in the fucking beach him. There.
Really big.
I like that rock light, but it is a nice shot.
Well, I've tried ringing Matt Davies.
Well, on my phone it still says ringing, so...
Really?
Yeah. I've got Milo, I've got Slim Shady, and I've got a teddy bear. But it's like flashing and saying ringing.
Well, I don't want to be ringing him. Hang on, I'm gonna have to kick him out of the group, aren't I?
Here we go.
Didn't get dark. I won an hour and 11 minutes as well.
I'm gonna have to hang up because it's gonna keep ringing Matt. I'll ring his back.
Alright.
Right, so yeah, this is sponsored by Steel Town Music. Matt Davies, man. If I didn't like him so much, I would kick him out of the group. He wrote hi 20 minutes ago. Sorry about this. Everyone's probably like, thumbs down! Thumbs down! I just with Matt having a band, I don't want the phone to be constantly ringing, that's why. So, yep, Shang Tsung is just need a bit of a sex pest by the looks of it.
And we're back.
Hiya.
Hiya.
I didn't realise it was still ringing. I'm like, the last thing I want to do is be waking his kid up, like.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't know about it just being frozen on my screen that it was still ringing, because obviously it wasn't on your end, was it?
No.
It wasn't showing up. It might have just been like my phone just sort of saying I'm still connected in that way.
He's a great actor, this guy. Isn't he in True Lies? No. Is he? Aye. No, he's not.
No, it looks like I'm both not.
Yeah. Are you talking about Johnny Cage?
No,
Sam.
Edward.
Oh,
Eddie.
right.
You've been a bad boy, Eddie. He's fucking class in Rising Sun.
You're fired. No, doesn't Christopher Lambert have really bad eyesight? I'm sure
Yeah.
he does, you can tell.
Yeah.
It's all the lightning.
It's all about getting his head straight.
Again, though, when you think about casting Highlander, and you get, all right. You do realise he's French, but yeah, okay, but it's a movie, right? Okay, you do realise he's partially blind, and the movie's about sword fighting, don't you? Well, cast him now. All right, just get on with it then.
Wait a minute. I'm shocked here. It's any like Mortal Kombat Annihilation, right?
Mhm.
So I've just googled it to see if there was any story behind why Johnny Cage was killed, right? Now this, to me, I don't know if you could have totally blanked it from my memory, or whether it's just poorly done in the film. But this is the kind of synopsis I'm getting. So obviously the question is why Johnny Cage died in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. And this bit says he was killed by Shao Kahn's forces during an invasion of Earth, which we know that. But his path to the afterlife is blocked due to a merger of Earth and the Outworld, which restores his soul and enables him to help his comrade defeat the Khan, after which he ascends to the heavens. Now, I don't remember that happening in the film.
No.
That never happened in the film.
Well, in
I
the
know that obviously there is a bit at the end where Raiden kind of conjures the gods in that. I wonder if that was something that they had planned on using and just cut.
well, in the film, Raiden dies and comes back with his head shaved off, doesn't he? And it's a guy
yeah.
from Warriors, isn't it?
Oh, God, yeah. That's a good shot, no?
Yeah, we all did that in the game, didn't we?
Well, they got that from Van Damme, though.
Yeah. Even Goro has nuts.
But even there, like Lambert really breaking the character, he really has that very dry sense of humour. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to try that to you, Paul, next time I see you.
Thanks.
I love like the thought process behind those extras. Like, right, what when you do it look absolutely mental and like you're having a great time. Now that might have been a more of an interesting ending. Now that I think about it,
Oh, God, I'm so
You know,
bad.
Johnny Cage coming back at the end.
Well, you think that because you don't expect him to die, but I mean, you've also got to remember we're still talking about the film with a fucking massive gladiator balls fucking flying through the Earth's fucking core.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yeah.
Stupid, that, like. Then I've set the parks in.
Over 500.
I mean, he's just hiding behind them.
What's
I
the
wasn't exactly hidden.
Classes? Oh, God, so
I mean,
bad.
that's not even a good enough move to justify him falling over the edge.
Was just the camera going towards him?
In Mortal Kombat, there's like a million different cool moves that could have been pulled off there just to kind of give it that factor.
Well, it should have been the uppercut.
Literally- Yeah, that's it, yeah. And And we're now heading really into the end now, aren't we? It's quite a short film.
Well, we look like we're heading into a rape scene by the looks of it.
Listen, times were different back then. Everyone was doing it.
Oh no, because they go to Netherrealm, don't they? The outer world.
Yeah,
They get different fights from it. Whee! Johnny Empress.
Can you walk, Connor? I'll bloody walk out of here.
He is good, Chris Pratt, but like, what's the one where he's a witch and he comes into the future?
No idea, but sounds like with like a Christopher Lambert film.
Oh, hang on, I've never seen him yet, but I know what you're talking about. Well, he was in a film with, was it called Guess Who or something like that, with Christopher Lloyd. He even had him in a comedy and stuff. You know, when Christopher Lloyd was doing any kind of comedy, he was trying to, like Suburban Commando and Dennis. It was in that era.
He was in Clue, Christopher Lloyd. But yeah, Fortress, probably.
Forrest is fucking class. Massive cast.
Robocop in it.
What's that about Robocop?
In, Forrest, isn't he? The bad guy.
No, oh yeah, Kurtwood Smith. Kurtwood Smith's in it, yeah.
Yeah, he's in it. The brain but's not them, but it means you like it does some but's not.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting because I wanted to see the last who played Sonya Blade's done. So she hadn't really, like, at this point, up until Mortal Kombat, she hadn't done a huge amount. She was a steady character on Saved by the Bell. That looks like her first gig. Then she went on to do a series called Santa Barbara. And then she went from that to The Last Action Hero. And then, of course, Murder, She Wrote, which looks like she only did 8 episodes. Billy Madison. And then she did Mortal Kombat.
Billy Madison?
Yeah.
I only watched that a few weeks ago again. I forgot about that. I thought I recognised that.
And when you think about it, I'm going through all of that other... Yeah, that's probably what I do. I'm going through all the other stuff, and to be honest with you, nothing really.
So we'll see you at HorrorCon next year.
Yeah. Yeah, Mr. Smith, which was a TV shot. I was going to think it was Brad Pitt there for something. But she looks like she might have retired because her last gig was Phantom Punch, and that was done in 2008. She hasn't done anything since. I wonder if she's retired.
Is she not dead?
I wish. Well, this would be awkward if she is. No. Well, IMDb says she's not.
Reptile.
No.
That character's like 7 foot tall with a person inside him, with a reptile inside him, and now he's like just a normal person. That CGI was so bad though.
Yeah.
I think we'll be listening to the soundtrack later on.
I was loving this so when he turned up.
Yeah, this is the infamous scene where we're going to get to see that the bicycle kick does not necessarily work in real life. Or not visually in any way.
Later on also.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, they weren't really... For the humans, they weren't giving them the fireballs and shit. I mean, you might get a fireball by the end of it, like, but... Like, in the fucking second one, he turns into a fucking dragon. Shao Kahn turns into some kind of fucking weird bird with 3 heads, and they have this fucking atrocious fucking CGI battle.
Yeah. Well, of course it was played on the animality. Because that was another one you had to figure out. 20 combination to create the animality.
The one that always got me was friendship. When you had to show mercy first, but then had to try and do it. Again, if you didn't have the magazines back then, it was just word of mouth and like trade and stuff. Oh, do you know how to do this?
I remember having it jotted in the manual. there was always like I never really understood why we had a note section in video game manuals, and then that's pretty much
Hurricanrana.
Oh,
I've never
You guys
seen.
remember? I don't know which program it was. Maybe Bad Influence, where you record the program, yeah, and at the end, screenshots go dead quick on the screen.
Oh yeah.
But you have to pause the video
Yeah.
each frame to see if it was actually the right screenshot for the cheat or the code for the
Yeah.
game. That just hit us
Yeah.
right now.
But that was to do with long play and short play, wasn't it?
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, they wouldn't be able to do that now because it'd be almost subliminal. It might give someone a fit doing that.
Yeah. I remember when they used to go beyond the Call of Duty with stuff like that. Remember when there used to be like phone numbers in films where if you actually rang them, there would be like an actual message and stuff like that. And there was just so much interaction between the viewer and the person who was playing the game or watching the film, which I just feel like we just wouldn't get anymore. Yeah, Ghostbusters, yeah,
2016 had that, and I rang the number up.
Oh,
Here we go.
want to try that, do you, Paul? I mean, come on.
Yum yum.
Well, why did he die off that?
Yeah.
Because it was so powerful.
Yeah. Maybe it was because he had to conjure so much to be able to possess the human element, and maybe Luke Andrew kicked the shit out of it.
Well, she's what else could Fan has been in?
Not much, I don't think.
This is not, don't recognise it from anything like.
Well, I actually have IMDb up, so Talia Soto, she's called, and she did
I heard that this was
for Annihilation.
in concert. Oh yeah, sorry, go on.
So she's known for, as the first thing IMDb would like you to know, is that she was Katana in Mortal Kombat. She was also returned in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. She was in License to Kill.
Oh, so she's a Bond girl.
Yeah, and because of that, I'm guessing she got the critically acclaimed role of seductress in Hotel Room. Spy Hard.
No, come on, Spy Hard.
She's Spy Hard.
I've got that. This movie is called Spy Hard.
Yeah. Now, she's definitely still alive, and her last acting role was a film called La Mission, which was 2009.
Oh, that looks terrible. But again, this is meant to be the fucking tower. Like, you've reached the top of the tower.
Yeah, I say that was a big part of the game, wasn't it? And now, for some reason, Sonya, why the hair?
I mean, she looks like an extra from the fucking Flintstones now.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, again, I know it's just film. But at what point do you take your prisoner and go, no, get me a hairstylist, she needs to look better? Because that's not just a hairstyle that just happened to do. That is like someone who sat in a chair for like 15, 20 minutes and had a proper stylist work on you.
And why is there loads of Jedis on it now?
No, this is when the Undertaker comes out in it.
Yeah.
Aye.
I watched all that, by the way, last night, Carl.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Good
fucking
enough.
brilliant.
And the fact that he has actually retired now.
Well,
supposedly.
it'd be
If
Hall
you
of
watch that series, you can't really believe it very much, but I think he has.
Hall of Fame next year. And I mean, they've left it so he can just turn up if he ever needs to be. But like, match-wise, yeah. The only thing they could do is to do something with Sting, but
yeah, that could be quite good. Like if they did a cinematic thing.
Yeah, Sting doesn't really do much music these days, does he? Yeah,
no. Well, he had that. Well, he's been busy doing that album with Shaggy. You know what I mean, so.
I always remember one of his many movie roles, but the one that always sticks out, Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels. I found that quite funny.
Like Danny John Jules is in that, and unless you're looking, you fucking miss him.
Yeah. Good old cat.
We're already in hell. time to change and take her shoes off and do her hair.
She looks like fucking Flintstones extra, man.
I know that.
Well, no. Now, I must say, like, I think every other person who's probably ever thought about getting tattooed, this was very, very close to me getting a tattoo of the dragon.
Thanks,
on my logo. And I still look at it and think that's still a cool logo, but I'm so glad I didn't.
I'm not joking when I see the thing on the sign on the floor. I went, that is such a really good sign. The Mortal Kombat logo, I forgot about it.
Really?
Always gets overshadowed, doesn't it, with all the characters on the front now?
Yeah.
Because in the old days with Mortal Kombat, it was just like a 2 in the middle or like a 3 in the middle.
Well, that's it, exactly. Yeah. All character driven.
I mean, just saying that, I'll just grab my fucking stay there, Red Hood. So I've just grabbed my Mortal Kombat. Oh, fuck you, Red Hood. So it's got Sub-Zero at the top. Then it's got the Xenomorph, Predator, Jason, Goro, Leatherface, and the Sector Droid, which is obviously all of the droids put together. So it's an XL, but like again, so I think the one before that was Scorpion on the front cover.
Oh, the dragon logo on, so I can't remember now.
No, not now, no. The Blu-ray does.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah, the Blu-ray is a classic, yeah.
Same about the games.
Paul, a genuine question. If you ever got a tattoo, what would you get?
He's got a tattoo.
Say what, mate?
Have you got a tattoo? No, I didn't know that.
Paul's covered in them.
Yeah, I got 1, 2. I've got 3 of them.
Baby Driver on his bum cheek.
Of course, naturally.
Life breaks in mysterious
No
ways.
incense. I got me tribal one, and I got a one. It's good, so obviously none of them work. Mason's only got a few.
I've only got three tattoos.
Yeah,
Yeah, one just happened to be the length of your arm, though.
And me back and me chest, but it's all one tattoo.
Well, this is it, though. When people sometimes ask me, like, how many tattoos you got, I said, well, if you're based on sitting, I'm like, probably like 20 or 30, but like, because like one's a full sleeve, I just counted that as one tattoo.
I try not to show my guns off anymore now, to be honest.
I was half expecting.
It's not fair for everybody else.
I was going to say, I was half expecting the day when I got that artwork for that front cover that they wouldn't have me tattoo on my arm.
Aye.
Oh god,
first sign of animality.
At least the drains have the Mortal Kombat symbol on, that's pretty good.
Of course. Marketing.
So, didn't McFarlane do some of these Mortal Kombat figures, like the collectible figures, a while ago? I've just never seen them in the shops.
I think there's been a few like ones that look like He-Man.
Yeah, there's been like a...
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like...
Oh yeah, they did, yeah. Yeah. But
I mean, these are all just fucking wild, these guys.
Would this not have made more sense if all these characters was everyone who's died so far? Because clearly he's conjured their soul to take out Liu Kang. It would have been like a little bit of a nod maybe to have the good guy. Like, so Liu Kang's now going to be conflicted, it's like, this is the guy I like.
Well, the little baldy guy with the tash, the guy from Big Trouble in Little China with the guns, when he gets the 6-shooters out.
True, yeah.
Look at a random samurai, like, are we meant to believe he's in the game as well?
He's a bit dusty though, isn't he?
I'm going to say very dusty.
Is it the film The Shadow where Genghis Khan comes back from the dead or something?
Yeah. Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin.
Steps into the shadows. Like, oh no.
The Baldwins are a weird lot, like, just going to put it out there.
Steven's my favourite.
Steven was fucking awesome in The Usual Suspect.
He was.
I thought he was going to be a massive star, but he just flipped. I mean, legitimately, the last time I saw him on television was Big Brother, and he's just fucking weird.
I've seen a lot of Stephen Baldwin films. Like, I was a massive fan of Biodome, Usual Suspects. He was class.
Yeah.
He was
he
in a.
Flintstones?
Yeah, he was. He was in the sequel. But he ended up being in like a lot of like what's it, crime TV, and he was just started being. Well, he was in stuff like Threesome and Posse. He was in Posse as well, Simple Wish, and then he just seemed to just fall off the rails. I mean, I missed Stephen Baldwin for about 20 minutes in Bulgaria, because he was filming on one of the sound stages, Shark in Venice. Because they were filming that when I was in Bulgaria, and he'd just left. I was like, oh man, I fucking love him in Biodome.
Yeah. Can we all appreciate the tinfoil?
Oh yeah.
I don't see the same thing.
Again, no, it's practical.
Good. Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it. It's legitimately little detail like that, you know, works well, you know, just that's what it is.
They're not hard. And you can tell they're not Photoshop ones either.
No. And the spikes legitimately look like spikes as well, because modern day stuff now, they'll be wobbling and just looking flimsy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but legitimately, they seem to be the worst.
Are you sure he's not in True Lies?
I'm going to have to do a fact check for you, aren't I? True Lies, the most interesting title of a film.
Based on a French film, isn't it?
Fucking elbow
Don't know,
between the
but I
fucking
believe
shoulder
it.
blades, man. Fucking brutal.
Let's have a look at the cast. We got Arnie, Kermit Lee, Bill Paxton. Nope, I'm not seeing him unless he's quite far down the list. To be honest with you, I should have just looked up his IMDb.
I ain't thinking of but
I think it's maybe because I'm sure the chick's in it from Rising Sun. I still think Robin Shue, whatever you want to call him, he should have been on this new DLC, because then you could have had this battle again, couldn't you? On the game.
Yeah, I'd imagine. I mean, I don't know if it, like I say, if it comes down to being a budget thing, but at the same time, I feel like it could have worked. They could have gotten it done.
this is a long fight scene, isn't it, by the end?
Yeah.
It's
He's still quite a busy bloke, like.
Gale.
Oh, he's fucking massive busy, this guy. Got a proper creepy face, I think.
Oh, he's definitely a face of a villain.
Get the lighting right. There you go. There's a trailer for you.
Oh, it's a fireball, isn't it?
Kind of reminds me of those straight like videotape martial art films.
Yeah.
Way to fight it.
Here it comes. Not really a flawless victory. I mean,
No, definitely didn't get a flawless victory out of it.
he turns into a fucking alien.
I can confirm you're definitely not in True Lies.
Alright, thank you.
Put your mind at rest.
I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
This bit's a bit pooey.
Pooey?
All the spirits come out.
Is that literally going to be your ratings? How many pooies?
No,
Masons.
no, we're waiting on that, Paul. You better have a good one for Mortal Kombat.
Sorry.
No.
I just thought of it before. But...
Not how many fatalities.
Oh my god. You just did it.
It's like we all float down here. Quite creepy, that kid, mind.
Yeah, he's got that. Yeah, he's definitely could play a psycho.
Put some white paint on him, make him white face, and have him the Grudge. Fucking creepy as shit.
Hey, in this day and age, you can't be whiting up a Chinese person, no way.
I'm waiting for Short Circuit 2 to get banned.
I really hope that someone does do that one day to go, oh, at least the Pakistani got a job. It's like, actually.
He's...
And everyone sells an eBay for like 50 quid.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Gets the bird. I mean, is it ever going to, she's going to outlive him? I mean, she's 10,000 years old.
He's a god. You're going to make it.
It's a space, right?
Let's go home. And what a weird turn of events. Where did the children come from?
Similar Doom at the end.
No, shit, I'm sorry. My bad. Well, hold on, no, because they're all dressed the same yet. No, it doesn't matter. I'm trying to make sense of this shit.
It's just a movie. You were doing so... Oh, I mean, she's even got a flag. Oh, look, I mean... is Johnny Cage and Sonya together? Have we missed that? The cuddly.
Yeah, there was sexual tension all the way through that.
What annoys me most, the second one just finishes straight from here, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's straight up followed on, yeah.
The first film was just a waste. There's no point.
I mean, if you get really, kind of technical, as 1 and 2, not just one big film.
Yeah, they ground.
Well, it gradually gets worse till the end.
So you look at that character there and you think, okay, he looks badass. And then, don't get me wrong, the guy, I think, who plays him in the second one is a good, he does put on a good villain role, but he's certainly not what that guy looks like.
He's tiny as well, the guy from the X-Files.
Yeah. The guy from the X-Files.
Didn't it, who wants to rave in the seat when this is coming on?
And it took 2 years as well. That's the funny thing about this, is that plays off, and there was a whole idea of a sequel, right? This was 95. The second one didn't come out until 97. So it would take a while for them to get around to actually doing a sequel. You would think it would already be in the works.
Yeah. I think right now it probably would back to back, wouldn't it?
True, yeah.
So make it easier.
I don't know. I want a Mortal Kombat series streaming. I feel if you keep it down to earth, if you keep it grounded, you've got no problems whatsoever. I feel like if anyone tried to make a big budget Mortal Kombat film for the cinema, it's just gonna fail, and for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
Too much money. It'll be too much money. It'll be too much complex storyline. It'll be take away from the whole point. I mean, this is not a perfect film, but by far a film that's been converted from a video game. This is pretty much what you want out of it.
Yeah. It's quite weird how
the ratings, Mr. Ray.
Oh, the ratings.
I don't know. How many get over here's out of 10?
Ooh.
Oh, you got one, Mason, or what do you think?
Well, because I remember going to see this with me nana. I went to see Jumanji, Street Fighter that year. I was really big into watching films with me nana that year, and unfortunately I lost her the year after. So nostalgia-wise, I'm going to give it a 6. I think it looks well. I think it translates well to a wide audience. I think, a lot of the die-hard fans will be like, oh, fucking hell, fucking this, fuck that, and all this kind of shit. But again, it's got to translate to a wide audience, especially how much disastrous Super Mario Bros. Was. And the backlash of Street Fighter as well. I can never remember what came first. But I think if you look at this and Street Fighter, it's the stronger of the two films by far.
Mario was first.
Mario was first, 92 Mario, wasn't it? Lambert is just such a weird casting choice. Apart from that, I think the cast is well done. I think some of the deaths, like Goro's, weak. But you've got to give them credit for trying to put Goro on screen. I think they've been too ambitious. I would have not gone too extreme with the CGI enhancements. I think Thailand or wherever the film, Thailand, Hawaii, I think they could have just kept it grounded that way, and that would have worked a little bit better. So
Instead of changing the skies over
yeah.
time,
Well, it's day for night technology, which again would have been very new then. Film it in the day, make it look like nighttime. You know what I mean? But yeah, I want to say 6 for nostalgia because going with me nana to the pictures on that. But I was hyped at the time. It delivered for me when I was a kid. Again, I seen this at the pictures, so yeah, I would say 6.
Lovely. Carlos?
Yeah, I mean, I've got to agree on all those points. It was ambitious. It is a film of its time. So, like I say, we can all sit here and go, Reptile looked awful. But
Oh,
at
yeah,
the same
definitely.
time, for what it was, I feel like they at least were ambitious enough to push for something interesting rather than going with a safer bet. I'm gonna say 7, but I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna give it 6.5. Get over here's.
Nice.
Again,
You're not allowed halves.
Since when?
You can't. Half a
You
body.
can't lay rules down halfway through, mate.
You've got to ask Paul Ray first if he changes fucking rules, man. He'll get fucking off it.
Oh, it's okay. Oh, do
I
you
know,
sanction the half mark?
You can't for this because it's half a body, isn't it?
Well, I
Oh,
thought so, yeah. So because it's not a fatality, it's not a flawless victory, but I would say it's a technical knockout. It goes for something. I feel like everyone walks away feeling like they achieved what they wanted to get out of this film. Again, it is dated, so it doesn't get like close to a great mark, imperfect mark, shall I say. It is a film of its time, but yeah, I feel like the actors were as good as they were supposed to be. They did go with people who could actually fight, so that's a bonus in itself. But yeah, 6.5. Get over here's for me.
Can I just say that Frank Welker did some of the vocals and film, just at the end there, special vocal effect by Frank Welker, you know, who did Optimus Prime and, you know, all school specific ones and stuff like that.
Alright.
I'll give it 6 over here. Like I said, I only watched it a few weeks ago. It's one of those ones as a child, well, a teenager, you just remember playing the games and you couldn't wait for the film to come out. Oh my god, did you see that death move? Did you see that move? Yeah, it was great. And obviously seeing like Goro come to life on screen using particle effects is really, truly amazing when played out. But it didn't. So
Yeah.
obviously, yeah,
it was like the second coming of Turtles, wasn't it? You had the same kind of like the second coming of the Turtles when you were hyped for the
Yeah.
Turtles as a kid, and then for this to come along.
Oh yes, yeah. But no, yeah. I've just enjoyed, like you said. Out of 4 films, this one is my favourite. It's in my top 3 movie, a game to movie adaptations. So yeah, I'll give it around this get over here.
Right, so here's a one for you. If you were to do this film again now and not involve any other extra characters, who would you choose to recast now?
Jesus Scott Layfoot come now.
I love that little Goro logo. I've never noticed that. See, it's tricky off the top of my head. I would say that I would maybe give Frank Grillo, Kano. I feel like he has that kind of gritty cockiness to him. As far as female role, I would say, which a lot of people you two might not know who I'm on about, but Catherine Winnick might be a good Sonya. She plays a female shield maiden in the series Vikings, and she's such a good kind of strong female character. You feel like she didn't have to try, so I would probably give that to Sonya. Johnny Cage would be a funny one. Johnny Cage, I feel like I would want to go. I don't know. It could be
Scott
It's all on the
Atkins.
spot, isn't it?
Scott Atkins.
Scott Atkins. Atkins would be a good one. Yeah. You know who I'm thinking of though, and it's not a good idea, but I don't know why, but the face is coming to mind. Is Ryan Philippe? Is that his name, Philippe?
Yeah. He's too old now, man.
Yeah, well, I know he's too old, but for some reason I'm thinking of a male kind of American actor, and his face comes to mind. I think, what's it? Because he's doing Shooter, which is a TV series to Mark Wahlberg's film.
Yeah.
But that was strange because I saw him last year, and I thought, well, I haven't seen you for ages. But I feel like that is a good question that needs a little bit of a thought process.
It is, yeah. On the spot, it's pretty hard, isn't it?
Because I know I'm going to pick people and then I'm going to
Well, it's like
I forgot all about that.
Well, it's like you would cast the Big Show as Goro, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that would be interesting because you would have So, because I think I thought maybe if I were to critique on Goro.
No, that's who I would cast. I would cast Shameless to be Kano.
Shameless. As a character, yes, you're absolutely right. Yes, as Bebop. Is it Bebop?
Yeah, it's good in that.
No, as a character, even as his character in the wrestling, I would totally agree with you on that one. Although, I feel like he's too big. The tall man, you know.
Oh, that's it.
Goro would be
I'm not heightish or anything like that. But,
play Mortal Kombat 3 at arcades everywhere. So yeah, there were Mortal Kombat 3 was out there, so you had stuff like Striker, Cabal, every other fucking different coloured fucking Rain, Ermac, fucking ninja you can imagine was in this. To be honest with you, I don't think Scorpion was in Mortal Kombat 3 originally.
really?
Someone fact check that before this ends? I just want
what was
is
Mortal Kombat 3?
the original game, not Ultimate.
I'm sure he was unmasked in it with that like scar on his eye.
No, that was Sub-Zero.
So hold on, what game are we looking at?
Mortal Kombat 3.
Right, Mortal Kombat 3, yep. While I'm doing that, I've got a better option for Goro, mainly because of his height and that he has more of a figure of Goro.
Have you seen the Great Khali? That's cheating.
No, actually, he would be awesome. But no, I'm thinking of the Nathan Jones.
Oh yeah, he would be.
He would be very good because he's already got the physique and the height. But,
I mean, there's nothing wrong casting Van Damme as Johnny Cage. Still, as like an old out of work actor.
Yeah, if you go really old, like older than what the games are, yeah. So Mortal Kombat 3 Scorpion. It looks like he's in it, mate. From the instant Google search, I've got screenshots.
No, that's Ultimate. I'm sure he's in the Ultimate game, not the original concept of the game.
Ultimate Mortal
Scorpion, along with all the game palette swap human ninja characters, was not playable in Mortal Kombat 3, but returned in 1995 upgrade Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 when Shao Kahn tried to conquer the Netherrealm after an invasion to Earth. So yes, Mason gets a point.
I'm sure I had that on PlayStation.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Paul Ray.
I didn't do anything.
But, just because it's in front of us, it's a Google search. Who is stronger, Scorpion or Sub-Zero? Who's your money on?
Sub-Zero.
Paul?
Yeah, I think the same.
Right, so the fact that it starts with the answer yes makes no sense at all. But yes, even though it seems that both of these characters are equal, they are not on the same level. As Scorpion is stronger than Sub-Zero, has the awesome power of controlling ice, while Scorpion has the power over fire. But no more to Scorpion than fire. In fact, Scorpion gets stronger in the Netherrealm. So obviously, that makes more sense. I believe that.
That makes more sense as well. Like Sub-Zero.
Scorpion takes Johnny Cage to the Netherrealm.
Well, the thing is,
work for me.
Scorpion kills Sub-Zero, and Boone Snybot,
right.
Who is the all-black ninja, is the original Sub-Zero in the story, in the games.
Right.
So, like, in yeah. I mean, again, playing that Mortal Kombat 9 game they brought out on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation, fucking was just so addictive. because the fact that it just retold his story and of how and why, like Cyrax and all them were real people, do you know what I mean? And then the opted to get to become a cyborg, how Jax lost his arms. So that was really, really cool. How Cabal ended up being Cabal, you know what I mean? Some really good things. That you can watch it all on YouTube, guys. I actually highly recommend it. You can watch it. You can watch it.
Did they change the spelling of Jax's name in the game? Because just as I was looking through there, someone mentioned that in the film it's J-A-X-X, where it is actually noted as a mistake that it should have just been J-A-X. And I can't remember in the game was it double X. I just don't know.
I think it was double X.
Yeah.
Well,
do you think there's any special feature to be had on this that are locked away somewhere? Because obviously the film finished on my screen. So as a special feature, we've got Mortal Kombat: The Journey Begins, and we've got the trailer.
Well,
Nothing
that's
else
it.
on there. So,
Hang on, what are you watching on DVD?
No, Blu-ray.
Because I've got more than that. Hang on. What have I got? I've still got fucking ones. Oh yeah, The Journey Begins and theoretical trailer. The Journey Begins is like a fucking weird VHS they brought out to coincide with the game and that, yeah.
How old is Mortal Kombat? Like 27 years old now, yeah? And it still sells in Steam, so you know what I mean? It still has a good fan base, isn't it?
Oh,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like I say, I think that they've done really smart in the way that why they treat the game, but maybe controversial. But if I was given a choice today to play a Mortal Kombat game, I'm still going for one of the first three. I do like the new one, but I feel like they've overcomplicated themselves. I mean, that's saying a lot considering, like I say, the original games you needed a master combination, but it just like it doesn't feel to me like the game that I fell in love with.
Well, as well, Mortal Kombat's American, isn't it? Am I right in thinking that? Because Street Fighter and Tekken and all that are Japanese, aren't they?
Japanese, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well.
The squeakiness of your new computer, Paul.
Oh,
Yeah, Paul Ray's on his lazy boy tonight, man.
Yeah, that's why
that's why we've understood everything you said.
Well, this has been the podcast for Mortal Kombat. I don't know if the guys want to do Annihilation or Street Fighter.
I say let them decide in the comments down below.
No, we'll just get loads of links to porn and like getting grief off little kids and stuff. But no,
it's a reaction. Any reaction's a good reaction.
But again, I've already done the second one on my own about a year ago, so you can check that out. We are trying to do Waterworld still. That is our priority, but once I move, touch wood, I will be making a massive shortlist so everyone can go, right, you want to do this? Well, it's on the pile. And I'm actually going to try and do some solo ones on VHS as well, which you can only watch on VHS, unless you guys can get some dodgy versions of what I'm about to watch. Ski Patrol would be a good one for you to try and dig out, because I would love to do that. But for now, I've been Stephen Monkey Mason. I've been joined with Paul Ray, Carl. We were meant to have a Matt Davies, but he's, again, fatherhood. Thanks for listening. Goodbye for now.